Welcome, Virgo. Welcome to Anomaly Detected Tarot. This is your May reading for 2022. All right, let's start with a Celtic cross here. And right in the center of your spread, we have the Six of Wands. This is a card of forward momentum for sure. We see someone who's, the word jockey comes to mind. We see someone who's on a horse here. And it's really a card of like high octane activity is what this reminds me of. And so this guy, he is horseback and the horse is reared up. And you see these columns or pillars of light here. And so I think of also kind of like columns or pillars of support. This could represent people in your life, actually. So we see these 6 columns of fire. What keeps you upright? What is your pillars of support in your life is something that's a central focus in this spread already. And so it looks like forward momentum, whether you're taking a break from forward momentum or you have had too much forward momentum and you're suffering a little bit of burnout, it's in reverse here. So it could be one of those things where, if there is something that you need to fix with your car, because we do see that this guy has a vehicle here, a mode of transportation of forward momentum, of traveling forward. So it could be a good time to get a tune-up for your car, or it could be something where if there is something you need to fix with one of these pillars in your life so that they can all be stabilized and structured and standing vertically and upright. Is there something you need to upright even in order for that forward momentum I'm hearing to begin to take place? So that's the 6 of Wands, and crossing the 6 of Wands is the Emperor card. I'm kind of getting this feeling that's like a horse in a stable, and kind of like at the Emperor's, flag, or sometimes they'll start a race with a firing of a gun. I'm hearing weapon. I'm hearing discharge. I'm hearing discharge us. Okay. And it's the Emperor card here over top of the 6 of Wands. And he has quite a large eye on his face. So someone that could be surveying or surveilling a situation here, this card of momentum, it could be that this watchful eye is an authoritative figure or someone who has control over your literal physical transportation, what makes you mobile, or this could be your work activity, whatever it is. If this is a laborious process for you, it looks like whatever this card of momentum is you I'm hearing in full swing. I'm hearing motion. A perpetual motion machine, and it looks like it could be waiting for this Emperor to kind of fire that gun or let the horses out of the stable, so to speak, and well on their way. So that could be it. It could be that your mobility is at the mercy of perhaps an authoritative figure or a figure who is for certain masculine, as a masculine archetype. The 4 is in the major arcana here. It's the Emperor. So it's also the card of Aries, which is a fire sign. So we've got a lot of fiery activity already. And in this deck, the 6 of Wands is the Star card. Not like the major arcana star, but it is the star is in this Quantum Tarot version 2.0. It is a science deck, so there's absolutely some STEM subject themes. Okay. So what is the oversight here with the Emperor? The oversight of your ability to be mobile, your mobility, your and maybe even agility comes to mind as well. You could be someone who is not just fast paced, but who's agile in their maneuvering, swift maneuvering of an undertaking. So whatever that is for you. It could be entirely individual. In the conscious mind, we see a lot of play. Something is transformative for you. It's on the conscious mind, and it looks like someone's observing the stars here as we see the night sky as the skin, really, even of this. I'm hearing character, and I'm hearing sim, and character simulation comes to mind. That would be the messaging system. It's an information relay system. I do receive information downloads. I will say it's not always in a manner that is sometimes they're untoward. They're not always bringing content that's for the highest good of all concerned, I'll say. And so I have to have a sort of filtration process, boundaries put in place between me and this system that is delivering messages. And so I like to say that as a disclaimer, because even though some would consider it a channel dialogue, my channel is specifically undergoing a little bit of a row. I mean, I have to find a way to maneuver through and around the information that's coming and going. And I found that tarot could be one way to do that. And perhaps all the information that I'm receiving doesn't necessarily mean that it's all for me or pertaining to me. And so the information that I share, I have found actually meets people in specific places, that individuals and collectives around the world are receiving dialogue in a similar fashion, in a similar manner, and that the dialogue is actually quite the same. So linked messages, there's synchronicities with this for sure in the tarot community among those who channel dialogue, and images as well. I do receive images and dialogue to the biology and brain. And so, and it's a system I like to call false light intelligence. This false light intelligence system is a hierarchy, and they have absolutely light mechanics. This can be confusing to the light worker who thinks of light, and then there's dark, and sometimes forces that are untoward and don't have our best interest at heart or the highest good of all concerned. And sometimes they are light beings. It is true that these light workers, these light beings with light mechanics, have a spiritual presence at time, and it's not always one that has the best interest of people or the highest good of all concerned. In fact, sometimes their agenda is very selfish. And so that's something that I've come to talk about as well. It's an anomaly that I've detected, and that's why I have made this channel Anomaly Detected. So figuring out how to integrate and work that in. I'm hearing magic. And so sometimes the dialogue is vulgar, sometimes it's quite alluring, sometimes it's very lighthearted, sometimes it's very funny, sometimes it's sad, sometimes it's angry. And so I really get just a spectrum of human data. Okay, so and we see in the conscious mind lightheartedness really around something that's transformative for you. The jester could be the very force of transformation itself, for you to laugh and have a good time. And I really think of laughter as something that disperses negative energy, laughter as something that disperses and transmutes, even alchemically. So laughter for transmutation and dispersion of negative energies is something that you're finding transformative around this time, and that you're absolutely benefiting from with this Fool card. And worry not, the Fool does have, even though it's called the Fool card, what it really means is you could just be a babe in the woods. Perhaps can be a good thing, something that is refreshing to you, something that is like hitting the reset button, starting a new cycle rather. And in starting a new cycle, you don't know everything. You can't know everything. You do have some things that you're equipped with, and it looks like good humor is one of those things. You could be someone who's fascinated with the stars, or you could be someone who feels like you wear that universal point of view. The stars are on this person's skin. The night sky is their skin. And so you could be someone who embodies the stars as something that you feel like is a part of your even mojo, perhaps. But nevertheless, you're wearing the night sky. And you're doing it with a light heart. I'm hearing faint. And so there's a lot of pizzazz here, also a lot of jagged energy with this laughter, whatever this may be. And there's more signs of transformation with the two butterflies here. We see it's almost like the butterfly, and then we see the shadow of, I'm hearing transformation, the shadow of the butterfly as well, kind of cast on the background with the shadow of the jester. You could be someone who's having a lot of lighthearted fun with shadow work around this time, instead of it being something that is, I'm hearing harrow, instead of it being something that is dark or scary. It looks like you're treading those waters with a lot of laughter. I'm hearing belly. And it looks like you're really actually enjoying it and making it something, this thing of creation and study, and training of your shadow side, or the shadow archetype, just shadow work in general for you. Your night self as well comes to mind, and it looks like you're doing that like with the lighthearted laughter of a newborn baby is what I think of. It's youthful regeneration, youthful, and it's regenerating to you. Let's look behind here. We have okay, so we've got Orion, and Orion is let's see, is this Osiris? Let's see. Right. Sahu is what they called it in ancient Egypt. Osiris. Here we can see the constellation in the background, this characteristic broken X shape. And this is a warrior card, really, but it's actually the Page of Wands. So someone who is in a learning position here, someone who's an apprentice type. And we see more pillars of fire here. It could be something that's lighting your journey or keeping you stabilized along your way, whatever this pillars of light are for you. This could be support from people in your life, but nevertheless, it's providing some kind of support. It's providing some kind of stability for you as you're in the learning stages or phases of something. This guy is also has seen some kind of conflict or battle before. He's got a sword here at his waist. He's in a defensive position, and he's got his shield. So you're someone who, armed combat, I'm hearing. Maybe you've had literal armed combat before. Maybe this combat is coming in a different way for you. I've also psychic combat has been a theme in my life, and on my journey, and others that I'm seeing, that psychic combat and psychic warriorism is something that has been a theme. So it looks like you've been on a journey of some kind in which you've had to also exercise defensive and offensive. This could even just be in conversation. This could be in intelligent communications. If this is something that's in communications for you, offensive and defensive may take on less of a physical battle, and more of, it could be a legal battle. It could be a battle with anything legal, medical, but nevertheless, he's a soul journeyer, and he's learning battle tactics. I'm hearing battle tactics. I'm hearing communication, battle tactics in communication. I wonder, and that's something I fully understand for sure. To have a psychic counterintelligence implemented into even just your everyday life, your communications, and even sort of encoded into intelligent communications and exchangement that can take on an energetic interplay for sure. Energetic, I'm hearing warriorism again. psychic counterintelligence and energetic exchangement with others. And we find also that to avoid conflict, often if you have a communication that's unsettling to you, or a party who is trying to exercise something of conflict, then sometimes it's best to, when someone's stealing your energy, just to make sure you defend. Don't allow others to harvest your energy. Literally make a boundary or barrier. This can take on a physical manifestation of a boundary or barrier, or intellectually. And as you do that, and kind of whether you decide to take back your own energy, build a boundary, and then really from there, I would advise giving energy to the party who's trying to create conflict, because then they realize, it's almost, you see the intelligent communication in their field as they relax a little and realize that they don't have to conflict, battle, fight for, or steal or harvest your energy, but it's being given freely, so long as communications are consensual and so long as communications are not hostile. So hostile versus healthy and friendly communication is something that I have seen as a science, a study for sure. And it can be complex and it can be very simple. It just depends on how you look at it, and also what you have, what you're equipped with, to encode your belief systems and your communication techniques also, to be able to have a system that works for you. Is something that's advisable, and it looks like it's something you could be learning about already in your recent past. Let's look forward into the future. Okay, we've got the King of Pentacles here. That's Saturn, the King of Pentacles here. So, let's see. This particular card, I think it speaks to the sky gods, is what we learned from Roman mythology, I think it is. Is it Saturn who ate his children, though, who's known to eat his own children? It's got a side that's kind of, I'm hearing devious. I'm hearing devi, and didn't finish the words there, but it was really hinting at devious, but then when I heard it, it sounded like DV, which also stands for domestic violence. So take that as you will. Hopefully you're not in any violent situations there. It looks like there is a bit of surveillance on whatever situations could be arising for you around this time in the month of May, whether this be you as the watcher, the observer archetype, or whether it be someone else. It looks like something is being surveyed or surveilled. If you have a violent situation in your life at this time, it could call for some extra observation and analysis, evaluation. And so looking forward into the future, we're looking forward into the future as we see Saturn here with he's got an upraised hand. Okay, he's got a stave in his hand, and this is actually a Pentacles card, but he's looking out into the future at this whole deck really that I have. His head is kind of turned here, and he's looking at all these potentials, and there really would be how many ways to arrange all these different cards and lay them out. There's just, what I'm seeing is like infinite potential looking forward into the future. And that's really positive. Be careful of a bloodthirsty side to this card. I'm serious. I'm hearing revenge. That can absolutely is something that could be at play, especially in regards to combat situations. And so battle arena comes to mind. And battle space, if that's something that is of the mind space. I'm absolutely someone who has a calling to talk about mental battles, psychic warriorism, and quite literally the mind space as a battle space, as far as intelligent communications and brain-computer interface in modern day. The way that has been progressively changing and advancing. It's advancing the battle space, it's advancing warfare tactics, it's advancing all sorts of things, but really advancing communications and hopefully negotiations. The ability to negotiate is something that we could, one of those positive advancements. And then also, negative conflict, war is another one of those things advancing. And so making the brain space and the mind space a battle space is something that we're looking at with this just revolutionary and evolutionary change as we merge AI and humans together. Hopefully consensually, always consensual exchangement. I'm looking down at the subconscious mind, and I have a machine. How ironic. So, this is the card of quantum mechanics, and it's a machine. It's got machinery. It's machine-like way that it moves, and also characteristics. I'm hearing character. It's the number 10. So it's indicative also 10, the end of a cycle. It's the number 10 in the major arcana. And it looks like it's landing on something here, this machine, almost like, okay, so it's the Wheel of Fortune card, really. And you can see that here. There's a lot of different gears, mechanisms, and inner workings. And I see this as the inner workings of the subconscious mind when it's in this position. Inner workings of the subconscious mind also can dream your dream life, your dream realms, also just what makes you tick between the conscious and the subconscious mind. It looks like on the top you're a really lighthearted person, Virgo, and it looks like you've got a lot of laughter and play, but you're also someone who's very deep. You're just archetypically wearing the night sky in your skin, and also having just complex intellectual inner workings. It looks like you're quite a complex being. So there could be some things constantly in motion, like perpetual motion machine is what I think of when I see this spread. And so you could be working out some, I'm hearing ticks, I'm thinking kinks, and I'm hearing woo-wee. I'm hearing that's fun. And so take that as you will. Taking a gamble, I'm hearing with your psyche may not be a good idea. Just saying, be aware of communications, incoming and outgoing. The machinery that you can sort of take stock of in your mind and your own intelligent exchangement with the universe could come with, intra-dimensional communications are something that I deal with. And as that's becoming a widespread problem, or becoming a widespread joy, even as it has manifest as both, and it does have that duality. But as that happens, be sure that you're standing in your power and empowerment, and having intelligent and encoded systems of safety, of ethics, codes of conduct, and intelligent boundaries, barriers, what's okay, what's not okay, what you consent to, what you don't consent to is something you can manifest in a handwritten contract. And the energetic encoding of your very own biofield is something that you will see follow. I promise. So let's look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. All right, health. We've got Hercules. I'm hearing tying it all. I'm hearing the knot. I'm getting like tying it all together is what it almost sounded like. Tying the knot is what I'm hearing. So some kind of marriage there that could be about. It could be a marriage of, my construct to another's is what I'm experiencing in this moment. And so as I hear the word construct, so there's a bit of traffic here, incoming and outgoing messages. Hercules is one who rules speech, communications in this deck. Hercules is one who could be fighting more more battles with his words is where he's getting success. You're finding success in the health position as someone who is having to talk. You're having to talk about something related to your health. Talk about something related to your health, and it looks like you're successful at that. If you see this upright Hercules, but it's actually a battle for you. Again, combat comes to mind. This is perhaps more of a figurative battle for you. As we look back and we see you've got perhaps physical, perhaps mental, perhaps even spiritual. And this one looks like it's a metaphorical battle as you fight with your words, as you debate, as you have intelligent conversations that's shifting to an outcome. And so it looks like that is something you're having to fight for, absolutely fight for. I mean, it's taking warriorism and perhaps even intellectual warriorism as he's got his club outstretched in his hand here, and he's wrangling snakes. Hercules, he's got a really strong back, whatever that means to you, if that's something you can relate to. He's got absolutely physical muscle. And this is a swords card, the Knight of Swords. So you're also